The Democratic National Committee is on the verge of revamping what has been one of the most contentious parts of its presidential nominating process.
The idea that we had, in this case, 400 superdelegates pledged to a candidate some 8 months or more before the first ballot was cast is, to my mind, absurd.
Under the old rules, Democrats would divvy up the votes for their presidential nominee into two types of delegates. The bulk of the votes went to pledged delegates, people selected in state primaries who are committed to vote the same way their state did. But a handful of the delegate seats, around 15 to 20%, were reserved for party officials, governors, and members of Congress. These so-called superdelegates were free to vote for whichever nominee they felt like, regardless of what their constituents wanted. After a series of meetings on the issue, the DNC is voting on a change to those rules during its summer meeting in Chicago. The proposed changes would keep superdelegates from freely voting on the initial presidential ballot entirely, though they would get to weigh in on the nomination if none of the candidates won their first round outright.
And nominate Hillary Clinton by acclamation as the presidential candidate of the Democratic Party.
Superdelegates became a major issue during the 2016 Democratic primary, when Hillary Clinton locked up support from a majority of them well before primary voting was over. Her opponent, Bernie Sanders, argued superdelegates are a form of institutional bias against outsider candidates. So far, superdelegates have never swung a nomination against the party's voters, but detractors argue the system goes against the democratic principle that a party's voters should choose their own candidates. Some party leaders have objected to being disenfranchised by the changes, and superdelegates that feel less than super about this might not be as eager to show up for the party convention, which could weaken the party structure overall.